у 22-й день березня 22-го, 27-й день війни, насамперед намагалися поспілкуватися з тими, хто може донести інформацію з больових точок нашої області і з Крима.
So today we are making a summary, and today is the 22nd day of the spring. It's still military spring for us, but it's Ukrainian spring, and we all try to touch and get connected with our network of those who keep informing us. And the first connection, the first information was about the Crimea, which was occupied back in 2014.
Про те, чим зараз зайняті волонтери, які допомагають тим, хто в оточенні, в задусі, і інформаційні, і головне, куди нема доступу зараз, бо не працюють гуманітарні коридори. Ми говорили з Анною Єрьомінко, і вона розповіла, що зараз найголовніше треба знати і про що має інформаційний простір говорити.
We also talked to one of the key volunteers. Volunteers are the ones who actually help to do a lot and cover many things which are supposed to do to make connections even with the locations which are in humanitarian crisis. So one of the key volunteers, she shared with us about the main directions for volunteering work, and also she shared what we should cover in the information sphere, in the information war.
Анна розказала нам, що евакуація зараз триває, але з ускладненнями, попри те, що офіційно зелених коридорів на Запоріжжі для евакуації нема.
Anna told us that we keep having and we keep doing evacuation. We keep evacuating people from the difficult war zone, from the difficult territories. However, unfortunately, there are no green corridors, but the evacuation goes on.
Попри все, попри обстріли, волонтерам вдається евакуювати людей, хоча це стає все складніше, оскільки в містах, які зараз в облозі, закінчуються продукти харчування, закінчуються елементарні ліки.
Shooting and shelling keeps going on, and in spite of that, volunteers still try to evacuate people, and the task gets more and more difficult because in the cities, in the locations where the people are encircled, they are running of food, running of medicine, of water, etc. So the situation gets harder and harder.
Але у ворога також закінчуються продукти, і він стає агресивнішим.
However, our enemies, they also now feel shortage of the same things, of all supplies, important supplies, and they are getting angry and more aggressive.
Після цього у нашій студії була Ольга Мішевська, координаторка волонтерського гуманітарного штабу Запоріжжя.
After that, we had a guest in our studio, Olga Mishevska. She was coordinator of volunteering office for the regional office.
Ольга розповіла про те, що у штабі працює молодь віком від 18 до 30, і вони натхнені можливістю допомагати і робити те, що має робити Запоріжжя зараз.
She told us that most of those who work there for the volunteering office, volunteering center, most of them are young people aged 18 to 30 years old, and they do their best actually.
І що нарешті прорвано блокаду, пологи знаходилися в такій блокаді, неможливо було відвести ані їжу, ані ліки. Нарешті це вчора вже відбулося.
And she told us that finally there was one important breakthrough in the region. The Pologi city, which is in the center of Zaporizhzhia region, finally they break through the encirclement, humanitarian encirclement at least, and they were able to deliver some food and medicine there.
Після цього ми спілкувалися із Тетяною Рихтун, яка розказала нам про ситуацію в окупованому Криму.
After that, we talked to Tetiana Richtun, which shared with us about the situation in the occupied Crimea.
Від мешканців Криму приховують справжню інформацію про кількість жертв.
The official media outlets, they hide, Russian, of course, media outlets, they hide true information about casualties among the Crimean citizens, those who are killed in the war in Ukraine.
В цей же час мешканці Криму втрачають роботу, тому що міжнародні компанії масово відмовляються від персоналу з Росії та Криму.
At the same time, Crimea residents, they face such a phenomena for them that they're losing their jobs. And the reason is that international companies, which used to have workers from Russia and Crimea, now they try to get rid of that kind of workers.
У магазинах Криму ціни підвищилися в декілька разів, а на деяких територіях на касах навіть не видають чеки, бо бракує паперу, бракує стрічок.
Also, what they feel in Crimea, they see that prices grew up times. And also in some areas, in some places, in some locations, in the shops, they don't even have paper to print their receipts. And they don't understand why is that, why disappears the paper to print receipts.
Далі говоримо про Бердянськ.
З Бердянськом нам вдалося поспілкуватися і дізнатися про ситуацію недільне, коли останній раз...
По Криму, тому що 14, по Криму, тому що це 14. Тобто це
ось цю тезу. Ну і, власне, в людей, в мешканців Криму виникає питання, за що це нам все, чому це все відбувається, і логічно є відповідь за те, що в 14-му зрадили Україну.
And the people, the citizens in Crimea, they start guessing, why is that happening to us? What we did wrong? Why all these bad things happen to us? And actually, the only real answer is because you guys betrayed Ukraine, and what you've done in Crimea, this caused then all these terrible consequences that we all now reap.
Бердянськ з 27 лютого виходив на протести і демонстрував український характер.
Now we move to Berdyansk city in the south of our region. It's a seaport at the Azov Sea. This important city was approached by the occupants back in February 27. And from that day and now, the city, the residents, they keep resisting. And the first protest was actually on February 27.
Було зроблено кілька спроб розігнати, залякати, втім бердянці виходили до 20 березня.
The occupants, of course, they tried to stop those protests and they were pushing harder and harder, pushing more pressure. And yet, until the day before yesterday, the Berdyansk citizens, they were still able to come up with peaceful public protests.
Зараз центр міста Бердянська наповнений озброєними окупантами, і це не просто озброєні військові, це чорні автоматники, так звані, спецпризначенці із Центру спецпризначення ФСБ Росії, які спеціалізуються на терорі та залякуванні населення.
However, it is not possible anymore to arrange any peaceful civilian protests because for the last 2 days the city center is packed up with military men, with machine guns, other armored vehicles, and they are guarding it. And now what they see is that not only the military men, the soldiers, the regular Russian army is present there, but specifically they brought the occupants. They brought special armed like police departments which deal with peaceful civilians in order to oppress them, and this kind of people are now taking control over the city center.
Позавчора у неділю на мітинг вийшло 350, майже 400 осіб.
The last attempt for the peaceful protest, actually peaceful walking protest, took place 2 days ago on Sunday, and it was Sunday 20th, right? Sunday 20th. And about 350-400 citizens took part in this peaceful resistance walk in Berdyansk.
Їм дали пройти колоною, провести мирний мітинг, але згодом ця колона з 400 людей була розбита і почалися
репресії.
Even though the local residents still made it to make a peaceful walk, although they were pressed and threatened from the sides, but at the very end of their walk, they were attacked and actually separated by force in few groups, and then the head group was actually brutally attacked in order to captive the leaders, the activists. That's the approach to capture the leaders.
Людей били руками, ногами, прикладами, трощили навіть велосипеди.
The occupants were beating people up with their hands, with their foot, with their weapons, with the guns, and they broke even some bicycles which were parked close to the place in order to take the captives.
При мінусовій температурі роздягали до пояса і тримали 5 людей і тримали якийсь час на цьому холоді.
And so they took 5 of the Berdyansk residents captive. They took away their upper clothes and they forced them. They lay down right on the surface, and that was minus. The temperature was below 7 degrees, and that was quite cold. So they kept them lying on the ground, and then they arrested them and packed to this vehicle for prisoners.
На сьогодні доля цих 5 людей і тих, які були затримані до того, невідома, хоча техніка роботи з ними в тому, щоб тримати в ізоляції, а далі, залякуючи і шантажуючи рідними, вимагати не брати участь далі у мітингах і не організовувати їх.
So far, they didn't release them. They still keep them imprisoned, and so we don't know what exactly happening with them. No contact with them. However, from Russian guards, that's the typical way how they deal with the people. They want to harass you and they threaten, but they threaten not just personally, but they threaten. They want to threaten you through your relatives, and what they want to get from you is that you would quit protesting.
Варто сказати, що серед населення Бердянську жодних проросійських настроїв немає. Люди не бояться, і навіть коли відбувалося захоплення цих 5 активістів, люди навколо фотографували для того, щоб зафіксувати цей злочин.
And we must also mention and actually stress on that among the citizens there is no witness of any pro-Russian existing attitudes. We don't see that, and they don't see that in Berdyansk. Moreover, the locals, even in spite of the force applied against them, applied the activists, they were actively watching from close distance, taking pictures and shouting, all these things that we all know what they shout and what they tell to the Russians. People are not afraid, and they show their protests as loud as they can.
Вчора вже було неможливо вийти на мітинг, лише один активіст із прапором України на це наважився.
Yesterday, since the occupants fully packed the city center, it was impossible to do any meeting to group there. However, one single person, the most active activist, he actually made it, and he was running, maneuvering among the occupants, and he was able to actually run there with the Ukrainian flag, and they were unable to catch him because they were too armed, and he was just faster and more flexible than they.
Від сьогодні на мітинги люди вже не виходять саме з міркувань безпеки, оскільки центр міста заповнений вщент озброєними людьми.
However, since today it was impossible to do anything else peacefully, publicly in Berdyansk center because it was fully packed with military men and with military vehicles.
В Бердянську, в Мелітополі, в Енергодарі, в Токмаку шантажують і тероризують журналістів, які там працюють, і змушують до колаборації, до співпраці. Журналісти викрадають, проводять так звану роботу. В усіх цих містах, і в Енергодарі, і в Бердянську, і в Мелітополі, і в Токмаку журналісти не погоджуються працювати і співпрацювати з окупантом.
The other thing that the occupants do in Energodar, in the larger cities especially, in Energodar, in Tokmak, in all the cities, in Berdyansk, in Melitopol, they try to force local journalists to cooperate with them, to collaborate with them, and they put all kinds of pressure. They actually steal people, and they apply tortures even to some of them. However, nobody agreed among the journalists to cooperate, to collaborate with them.
І Вільнянськ.
І Вільнянськ. Були на зв'язку ми сьогодні з міською головою міста Вільнянськ, вільного міста Вільнянськ, як вона нам сказала.
Наталя Мосієнко.
Another city which is a free city, not encircled in our region, Vilnyansk city. Vilnyansk is translated into English as a free city. And we talked to the city mayor today, and she insisted that the city keeps standing strong, free, and not going to surrender at all.
В Вільнянську зараз активно зустрічають переселенців з Маріуполя та багатьох інших міст Запорізької, Донецької та Луганської областей.
In Berdyansk, they are now actively very busy with receiving evacuated people who arrive from encircled Melitopol, but also from other locations in Zaporizhzhia Region, in Donetsk region, in Lugansk region. And there is a lot of job for them there, but the whole community works hard in order to take care of each and every person.
Місто отримує гуманітарну допомогу від Червоного Хреста та інших благодійних фондів.
To help receive the refugees, the city receives humanitarian aid from the International Red Cross and from other humanitarian agencies.
Міська голова наголосила на тому, що люди відповідальні, зібрані, свідомі і дисципліновано дотримуються вимог воєнного часу.
The mayor insisted and actually stressed that the residents, all the local residents, behave responsibly, and they all submit to the rules of the military time.
І також вона розказала про те, що важливі підприємства, такі як молокозавод, підприємства з виробництва борошна, працюють.
And she also told us that all the factories in town, they function, and they function at the full load, at the most full load, and especially important ones which are food producing milk factory and flour factory. Both of them operate and provide the city and other areas around, even our city, and in Zaporizhzhia, they provide with food products.
І важливо є теза, яку ми чули і від голови Вільнянська, і від мешканців Мелітополя. Ворог очікував, що ми почнемо сваритися одне з одним. Натомість ми ніколи не були такими рідними, як зараз.
It is also important to underline the phrase which we heard both from Berdyansk city mayor as well as from the citizens from the encircled Melitopol, the other city in our region, big city, that the people are actually amazed by the unity which they observe among the citizens. They say that we were afraid that maybe there will be some strifes among us. However, no strifes, unprecedented unity. That's what we all witness.
Ця наша спільність, солідарність і служіння – запорука нашої перемоги.
So this kind of unity, solidarity, and the desire to serve each other, that's really our bulwark for the victory that we are going to have.
Радіо на дотик. На дотик.